In a genre built on struggle, why do we shame vulnerability? Why is it so rare for us to see artists actually be vulnerable, and when they are, fans and even underground fans alike make fun of them? Why is this such a big deal? What's going on, y'all? It's willarmani. I hope everybody's having a good day. Today I want to talk about if rappers are afraid of being vulnerable, why they're afraid of being vulnerable, and how this has impacted music. First, let's call out the norm, the confidence, the bravado, the invincibility, and why it's become the default. Many artists stick to flexing, toughness, or pain masking, and listen, I don't blame them. When you're listening to music and you're an artist coming up, a lot of the music that you're listening to is a lot of that. It's the flexing, it's the saying what you have or don't really have, but saying that you have it. A lot of masks are worn as rappers are putting out music and rappers are creating music videos and visuals and putting out content on Instagram and TikTok, and a lot of what we see isn't really true, because what a lot of people don't talk about is these rappers are flexing money and clothing and all of this stuff that isn't really theirs, because especially the ones who are signed, that money isn't really theirs until they make it back. So even if they're spending money on jewelry and getting all these crazy looking outfits, what we're seeing isn't really what they usually are. It actually translates into the music that we get, and it translates into the music that we get from these rappers who are big, but it also translates into the music that we get from artists who are inspired by these people. And social media and clout culture makes rappers feel pressure to be perfect to some extent, and I don't blame them, because when you're being pushed that image and numbers and money and all of that is so important and it matters, a lot of people don't talk about is that it definitely affects their mental health. It definitely affects how they feel and what they do. A lot of people, and I'm not going to name any specific rappers, but I'm going to just say a lot of rappers in the underground are getting made fun of and getting made fun of for their outfits and flexing. But I guarantee you, if we didn't make fun of them for just being themselves initially, they probably wouldn't be doing this. But we also got to talk about why vulnerability is risky and why a lot of artists don't do it. We got to explore the fear behind the mask, and there's a fear of being judged, seen as weak, or losing respect. And I feel like a lot of artists take a lot of that emotion and a lot of that rage, and they might put it into the music, but sometimes they don't even put it into the music. So we're just getting an image and a persona, and we wonder why underground rappers, why mainstream rappers, why they don't last as long. But maybe it's not their fault, maybe it's ours. Rap culture often prioritizes strength even when it's fake. A lot of these rappers are only being pushed if they're seen as making money, or if they're seen as getting girls, or if they're seen as already popping, even if they're not popping. So we only push this stuff. A lot of the vulnerable music that we used to get from artists like Juice and Trippie and X, and I don't even know if we could say Trippie anymore, because Trippie has steered away from that because he also wants to stay relevant, and I don't blame him. As somebody who listened to Trippie and has been inspired by Trippie myself, I don't blame him for trying to transition, because he's just trying to stay relevant. But he was also a part of that generation of artists who were always able to express their emotions and weren't scared to do so, and in doing that they've had long-time fans, to the point where, first off, the X and Juice fans, I feel bad for them, because they're getting music that isn't even, it's not fresh anymore. It's just unreleased music that they might have wanted a long time ago, and they're still gonna want it, but it's a lot different because it comes from a label and not directly from these artists. The Trippie fans, they're just still holding on to the strength of that old catalog that he had, you know? So I don't blame them. But because of that fear of being made fun of, a lot of these rappers are scared to even be vulnerable in the first place. Going back though, the artists like Juice WRLD and X and Trippies and all those types of artists, they really were able to express those emotions and be vulnerable, but it was also more accepted a few years ago. Not to say that we don't accept it more now, because we're also in a generation that accepts being vulnerable, but at the exact same time, you get clowned for doing it online. So it's really strange, and we're in limbo right now when it comes to that, but I do think that it's the future, because those artists' honesty made fans connect deeply. It built legacy, and it didn't break it, you know? Like, these artists are still getting fans, they're still getting support, they're still getting even new fans sometimes, and it's only because of that honesty and that integrity that has been shown, not just through the music but through their character over time. The reason why X had so many fans, and I don't even know how new underground fans feel about X, because he's part of my, you know, I'm gonna be 23 this year, he's kind of part of my generation, he's not really part of the new generation at all. So I don't know how they feel about artists like that who are vulnerable, but I know when I was coming up in high school, like, that was such a cool thing. Like, yo, like, he's making fire music, but he's also not afraid to be himself. Because the current problem is the landscape is missing that soul. The landscape is missing that, because we're getting fast content, we're getting numbers first mentality in the music. And what I mean by numbers first mentality in the music is the music is being made to go viral or grow. It's not being made anymore with the intention of leaving a long-term impact. And long-term impact doesn't really have to be vulnerability all the time. It doesn't have to be emotion, but if it is, it definitely takes you to the next level, or at least allows your music to stand a few years from now, at least a year from now, you know, because a lot of the music that we're hearing right now, it's flexing music, it's stunting music, and I like that music. Like when I'm trying to have a good time or listen to music in the gym, I don't want to listen to things that are emotional all the time, but what I'm saying is it's that music that will carry itself into the next generation, the music that's emotional, the music that's vulnerable, not the music that is just saying, oh, I got this on my wrist, I got that on my wrist, and it's like, it's not gonna last. And it doesn't matter how old you are, you can say that you like it, and I like it too, but we can't sit here and act like it's perfect. In my opinion, vulnerability is the future, and we have to end this video with hope and direction. You know, I feel like vulnerability is the future. Authenticity wins in the long run, because artists who open up build real fan bases. People are craving realness more than ever, and we're tired of the lies. I feel like, at least myself, I'm tired of feeling like every artist coming up is the same, and it's not their faults entirely. It's because it's what is pushed in the culture right now. It's what's pushed in music right now. It's that fakeness, that ability to push music that isn't really vulnerable. That's music that's really just flexing what somebody else might want and might not have. Even in my own music, I try to be extremely vulnerable. That's my entire brand, just trying to be extremely vulnerable, you know, trying to speak to you guys what I feel about things regardless of what people think. And I feel like I'm not trying to say that I want to lead this, but what I'm saying is if we speak our minds more, not just throughout content, but through the music and everything like that, we're gonna take this generation into a really strong direction. But what do you think? Are rappers afraid to be vulnerable, or are the fans afraid to hear it? I mean, I don't really know, but let me know in the comments what you think about this topic. I'm extremely interested to hear what you guys want to think, and I'm always gonna have conversations with you too. If you want to hear anything vulnerable, anything exciting, or anything just different music wise, I don't usually do this, but check out my music. You can always see link in the bio. I always put out new music, new content on my own. If you're new here, please make sure to subscribe. willarmani, I'm bringing you videos every week, and make sure to follow me on Instagram, willarmani with 2 eyes. It's been your boy, willarmani. I've said my name like 5 times. Stay positive.